Welcome everyone. So I'm gonna try to make a chili, plant-based chili. Last year I made one and I used Beyond Beef crumbles. My chili came in second place in the all vegan, not all vegan, but all meat event. So this time I'm gonna try something different. Try to replace the crumbles with quinoa instead. All right. When it comes to making my quinoa, I just make mine in a crock pot. Sorry, a rice cooker. And really, quinoa is just two parts water, one part quinoa. So normally I would do one part vegetable broth, but it's going in my chili. So there's no need for the vegetable broth. I wanted to soak up all the flavors from the chili. And I normally season it really heavy. I'm just going to put some chopped onions, some dry chopped onions, some garlic powder, maybe some onion powder, and that's it. And just let it cook and do its thing. Make sure you rinse your quinoa very well. See how clear my water is? You can see everything. Just make sure you rinse it very well. So I'm doing a rough chop for my onions. I already cut one onion up. I cut the second. Well, actually, the second one out of three. Then I'm gonna rough chop and try to cut down the smaller pieces. My bell pepper, and then I'm gonna grate my garlic. The reason why I grate my garlic is one, I don't have time to be mixing anything, and two, it enhances the flavor a little bit better in my opinion. Sorry, guys. So the onion is making me cry. This must have been an angry onion when it was picked today, or yesterday, or earlier this week. Who knows? Anywho, I'll be back. So at this point, I have two bell peppers chopped up, and I have three onions. I believe I did two white or two yellows and one red. It's from my Kroger haul. The onions from that haul. I believe I had some of these bell peppers left over from something else. Who knows? Just trying to use up everything before it goes bad. And now I'm about to put it on the stove. So I forgot to mention, once I cut down these onions and peppers and all this good stuff, I'm going to finish out in the crock pot because I have a lot of things to do today. So I already have my crock pot on because I like to have it warm because I'm transferring warm food into it. So I'm going to have my crock pot on. Yeah. And then I'm about to get my stove ready and show you how I cook with no oil. I'm going to try my best to show you how I cook with no oil. So here go my pot. It's on, I want to say medium, a little over medium high heat because I'm used to it. When I first started out, I think I started out on medium low. So when you cook with no oil, you just have to pay attention. And when it starts sticking, you add vegetable broth. That's it. Like legit, that's it. So when it starts sticking to the pan, okay, it can't move around. You add vegetable broth. Also, when you cook with no oil, you need to use more seasoning, more garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, whatever you into. I try to limit my salt, so only salt I use is Himalayan sea salt. And I try to use that at the end to salt the dish or salt as needed dish because we add salt to the dish and then warm it up the next day and add more salt to the dish. We're still doubling the salt from before. So if you're trying to lose weight, adding all the extra salt is not going to help. And we're using a lot of canned vegetables and things like that today. We'll need all the extra water weight. Okay? So all I did was add my onions and my bell peppers to a hot pan. That's it. No oil, no anything. I'm just gonna let it. I'm just stirring it up, and then I'm just gonna let it be. I want a heavy season with onion powder, um, garlic powder. I'm putting some chopped onions, and I'm also gonna add my oregano, my cinnamon, and my chili powder. Because it's pretty much the base of my meal. I just want to show you. Um, at this point, I have not added any vegetable broth or water. And you see how it's making its own juice? You see that? These veggies have water in there. You don't really need all the extra oil, extra fat. And if you want to add oil to your food, by all means, add oil to your food. It's not the end of the world. But I'm gonna let you know it is harder cooking without oil. What happens is the oil slicks up everything, so it helps the seasonings distribute really well. And when you don't have it, if you don't season right, it's not gonna taste as good. I'm gonna promise you that. When I first started cooking with no oil, it was disgusting. I ate it anyway because I don't waste food, but let's say it was disgusting. I wasn't asking nobody to try my dinner that day. But now that I understand, I just need to add more seasoning. And I just want y'all to see my seasoning. When I say I don't measure seasoning, this is how my seasoning containers look. See that? Yeah, I just pour. I pour, I taste, and I go. You know what good food tastes like. If it don't taste right, add some more seasoning. If it's missing a kick or something, add more seasoning. I just realized I didn't add my cumin up here. I'm gonna go grab that. But it's powders. It's not salt. You can't. I mean, you probably can't over season something, but garlic powder, onion powder is pretty much my go-tos, and then I venture off from there until it tastes right. I just add in my seasonings. Let's see if I can show you. See how it's starting to stick a little bit? You hear it? That means me add a little bit of broth now. All that seasoning dried out my meal, so a splash of seasoning, and then keep on going. So I just added some more broth till it'll start to stick. I don't know why I said seasonings early, but add some more broth to it. I add like a splash early to keep it from sticking. I just add some more. I'm gonna turn my heat down. Sorry for all the steam. I'm gonna turn my heat down. I need to open up a few more cans. Sorry, my son decided to throw a tantrum. I have my beans already washed in the sink, ready to go in the crock pot. My crock pot is already on high, so it can be nice and hot, and I'm going to transfer it to low so it can slow cook. I'm going to add my crushed tomatoes, my diced tomatoes, and my puree and my tomato sauce. Season it from there and see. I know I need to add salt because right now it has no salt and pepper into it, but I'll add it a little bit later. So I just added the crushed tomatoes, the diced tomatoes, the tomato paste, 3 cloves of garlic that's been grated, and then the rest of the little remnants of it. I'm stirring it around. And then I'm going to add some chipotle chilies. Get a little smoky taste. Not too much because the other person who's eating this don't like spice. And I know. Lame. But yeah, I'm going to add like 1 chipotle chili, maybe half of one, and a little bit of its sauce. This became my favorite after Thanksgiving when I roasted my whole cauliflower with some chipotle lime dressing I made. Yeah. So yeah, this is the base. And in my crock pot, I already have my beans and my corn. I'll show y'all that before I add it. It's not doing anything, it's just in the crock pot getting hot. So I add 1 chipotle chili and not this much. It was that, a tablespoon of the sauce from the can. Again, I can't add too much to it because the other person who's eating this shouldn't really care for spices too much, but I absolutely love it. At this point, we need to do a taste test. If it don't taste good now, chances are it's not gonna taste good later on. Again, I didn't add any salt yet because between all the beans and the tomatoes and everything else, there's a lot of salt in it already. So I'm gonna taste it now and probably adjust it, adjust my seasonings, and then add it to the crock pot. So here's my crock pot. It has 1 can of corn and 4 can of tri beans, organic. So it's kidney beans, black beans, and pinto beans. So 4 cans are normally $1 each, but if you buy one of each, but if you buy the tri can, it's $3.19 because it's in a saver pack. So this is my chili all mixed up in the crock pot. It's really thick, which I don't mind, but I want to add some vegetable broth to thin it out because I am adding a little bit of quinoa. I might not even add quinoa at this point. Who knows? We'll see. Nothing set in stone. Put that in there and then stir it up. Put the lid on and let it marinate again. Before I put the lid on, I'm going to stir it really well and I'm going to adjust the seasonings one more final time. For one last final time. I'm so tired. I'm jumbling up my words. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to stir this up. Put the lid on it and then check in a few hours. So here is that red quinoa that I cooked in the rice cooker. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit and then fluff it up really well. That's pretty much it. It's easy to cook in a rice cooker. It's my preferred method because it frees up my stove and it's like a set it and forget situation. So yeah, stirring in the quinoa. All right. This is my chili. Delicious. I already tried some.